Now, retrogressive cultural practices still thrive in nomadic communities where people are yet to fully embrace the rights of women and education for girls. But one man in Wamba, Samburu County is going against the grain. Patrick Lembwakita, and an assistant chief, I should say, has been branded as the enemy of the Samburu culture for his relentless efforts to protect and fight for women and girls in his community. NTV's Rose Wangoi with that story.
Hakuna msichana anapashwa tohara bara ile ndio dai simunasikia hiyo tutachukua hatua kabisa vile niliambia nyinyi mbele na hata tokana pale kutoka mama haimili wasasi hiyo mtoto na yule ambaye anafanya hivyo na hata inaibu watu.
Patrick is one of a kind. The only man in Wamba, Samburu County, was gone against tradition and said no to retrogressive cultural practices.
Inadhulumu mtoto msichana haki zake haina maana nyingine yote bali ni madhara ya kiafya kabisa.
He says his humble background and his first-hand experience with poverty helps him to easily identify with the needs of the residents here.
Even our culture has taken us actually back to poverty again because of the poor or bad cultural practices that we are still embarking, like still keeping the children at home, not going to school, and then that one will not enhance any improvement in poverty alleviation.
During his tenure of 10 years as an assistant chief, Patrick has learned that to bring change, you must find your voice and have the courage to speak the truth. He has devoted his life to improving the position and perception of women and girls in his society, challenging women to take up leadership roles.
As a leader, I am expected to pose a change to my community. Some change is being felt here in Wamba location because of our seriousness and continuity of this awareness campaigns. The same is required in the interior of the Samburu community. I have 12 villages in my sub-location, and every village have a 9-member committee, of which 1/3 consists of women. So we are trying to promote women leadership from the grassroots, from the sub-locational level and to the locational level.
His biggest hurdle has been fighting harmful practices like female genital mutilation, beading and early marriage, which are still rampant here. We came across 5 girls who fled their homes and sought refuge in his office. Each had a sad tale to tell. The assistant chief says hardly a week passes without a distress call. To date, he has rescued over 50 girls from early marriage and made sure they have resumed studies. But there are challenges.
The government has been channeling its funds through the various, recognized institutions, but they are always not enough.
According to Patrick, retrogressive cultural practices, the biggest enemy to the girl child here, has not been fully addressed by the current leaders.
I've heard or seen none of them trying to advocate the rights of children, and especially the girl child. Most of them, especially the elected leaders, they fear missing or not getting the votes of the majority people who are still holding on to their culture. You are leading the people to nowhere. If you are a leader, then you fear telling them that we don't want FGM. Any elected women leader, we are expecting them to spearhead the change.
Patrick is the perfect example of a community leader, but his stunned, bold attitude and quest to fight for the rights of women and girls has not impressed some in his community.
This is going against Samburu culture. I'm not discouraged by those kind of threats. Whenever I succeed slightly in one of those areas, I'm encouraged even more.
Poverty and deeply rooted cultural practices are still barriers to protecting the rights of women and children. These are key issues community leaders like Patrick want government to address in order to improve the welfare of the marginalized communities and create an inclusive and accessible society for all. Rose Wangoi, NTV, Wamba, Samburu County.